Welcome everyone, another Playmobil toy review. And I got this whole set because it's based on kind of wizards and wizardry, sword and sorcery, and it fits into my fantasy wargaming that I'm putting together. This whole new system of fantastic interactive wargaming battles, which will use some of the old type and new type of ways of playing it with dice and little figures, but that's so boring, so we're going to get into other things. More on that later. But here's one of the typical, keeping in the fashion with the their strange, bizarre ways of doing things, which you'll get from, particularly from German companies, because they are so weird and strange, and of course, nothing really has changed with their attitudes in hundreds of years. You have this kind of interesting, I don't even know what this is or how it fits into play. I got this because it was so weird. Now, these are compiling of figures and pieces from other sets. So they put this together because it kind of cost them virtually nothing. But what is the appeal of this? Who's going to buy this? Haunted plant. And of course, this figure, other than the helmet there, which, look at that, it looks like a World War I Kaiser helmet, except they put antlers on it. How typical. And again, it's the retarded zombie staring ahead figures that Playmobil is famous for. And of course, that'll never change, because that's how they do it, just like the bad beer they make. So, I'm not sure how all this fits in, but we're going to open this up here in a minute. Here's the front. As I said, there's the side, etc. Now, here's the instructions that come with it. And I find this a little bit telling and even interesting. They do have a part of the instructions here, and we'll show you all the instructions. And here's the little intro here, which I think, welcome to Violet Vale, a peaceful and mystical home of wizards and sorceresses, like two more Wizard of Time and the official seat of the Wizard High Court. While the people of Violet Vale cherish wisdom and tradition, as well as practicing their special magic in order to preserve the balance within the world of Novelmore, tensions are rising and the conflicts between spill over to Violet Valley. Well, technically that's Valet. But, of course, they don't get that either, that would be an English word meaning something. A development that makes some question whether or not to hold on to their traditional traditions or break the rules and use more drastic magical measures, mainly dark magic, as a defense against imminent threat. Or is it? So it's interesting here to say, again, it's saying that positive magic is not powerful and you have to use black magic. And of course, I think that's quite telling of the kind of mentality of this corporation. And where they're really coming from. And people are very, very misunderstood of what's happening with certain cultures and other things. Okay, here's the, and these came with other sets, as we said. This is kind of a compiling. Here's two of the figures. So this is the instructions. Again, the figures are kind of interesting, but they're all in that same goofy, zombie-looking faces they always has, and that will never change. Once you make a bad design, you stay with it. I mean, that's pretty much... And these companies are allowed to do that because people don't understand that they've been around for hundreds of years and their success is guaranteed. So if you put out halfway decent products, well, you're never going to lose and the government's going to subsidize you all the way. That's how it works, particularly in Germany. Now, people should be aware of that. There's no competition whatsoever. Okay, so let's go in here and look at this stuff and see what we can come up with from here. As I said, this is very strange. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. They don't really say anything, which is typical of how a lot of this stuff works. As I said, this is for the Novelmore series, which is the Sword and Sorcery series. And this is 70747, ages 4 to 10. And how would you use this and what's going on? It's really hard to say. And here's the pieces, of course, that come with it. You get this figure, as we've shown you. You get all this stuff. And, of course, it's kind of this haunted plant or something. As I said, what is the appeal of that? I know this is put together from, and they always do this, most toy companies, they reuse molds so that it cuts down their cost, because your biggest cost generally in most molding or production always tends to be the actual cost of the molds. And I'm assuming that you have to have many of them. You can't run one mold to make thousands or millions of parts. So there's a big investment in that. And here I just opened this up. And we'll get into that. As I said, a lot of these concepts are very cool and interesting if we could get away from these kind of figures. And I said this is pretty much the same figure. It's got a peg leg on it. I'm not sure what that's all about. They took that from their pirate offerings. And let's put that right there. And let's go and see what they say you're supposed to do from the beginning here with their instructions, just so we can put this together quickly and simply. So they say, of course, to put the figure together first. And again, they have all these cool kind of little accessories. Here's the hat. Oops. With, well, that's interesting. Again, all these little accessories are kind of cool. It's a animal's head on there. Let's see if I can find the, where's the antlers? Here we go. And the antlers go on top here, which fit into this little, oops. How do they fit in there? Okay, you just press them right in there. You have the okay, we have this particular rod here, which this stone, I guess, just fits in. Just presses in here. And then you have this. And let's see what else we've got here. Let's make sure we got everything going here. Okay, so we've got that figure made up. There is this sword with sword holder. Let's get that out. Well, it's not really a sword. I guess this is some sort of sickle. They may be trying to imitate druids here, maybe. And of course, this has now this has a holder here, as you'll see. And this, of course, presses in over here. I could spend too much time on this. If you're interested in these retarded figures, you can put it together yourself. The staff is kind of nice. This set is kind of a shame here because I can make better figures, but you know, that's not what Playmobil is known for. These semi-articulated kind of goofy figures that were kind of unusual at that day, but the faces they put on them are from basically the exact type of faces you'll see on nutcrackers in Bavaria, where this person who, quote, invented this copied it from. So, and let's see what else we have here. So it's a very simple kit. Said I just don't quite get it. So that's how that figure looks here. Let's go on to the next basic setup of this plant. Now this plant has come with many other kits. So you're going to find these, and of course there's two different types of these which kind of go together. I guess there's little clips on here. You see that? It clips in like this onto here. And this gives a movability to the actual plant leaves. I don't know what we call that. This goes in the top here. Okay, that's falling off here. This goes pushed in. And of course this connects back in here. It's the problem with stuff that doesn't, if it doesn't really go in there tight, and it's not very tight, so that's going to be a problem of pushing off all the time. It also, as you get this spider, which should be in there. And these are what they call, this goes in the hands. These are like energy blasts and so forth. Kind of interesting for the figures. And of course, they always have these little wrist bands that go with it. As again, I guess he's collecting leaves, and this is a magical leaf thing, I guess. Okay, so let's go over here and show this. And that goes right in there. And of course, this is a piece that, again, was repurposed, but you know, that's how the toy industry is. You want to repurpose things to save money. So, and here's the spider, and there's supposed to be, it looks like there's a little, oh, here we go. The spider goes on this. There's a little hole here for the spider to go on there. Okay. Now we actually put the, there's a crown that goes on this, the skull head, which I did see. Here it is. Fits on fairly well. This was something, am I missing something here? Because this is supposed to, you have the skull head. That goes in there. But connecting the actual skull, okay. Now we're supposed to, and we've done all that. We have this crown on here. They're saying that this presses in here onto there, but there doesn't seem to be any way of that fitting properly. There is no, this is supposed to be, I'm not sure what that's supposed to do, but this certainly can't press down in there. So I'm not sure what their meaning of how that goes, and it doesn't seem like we're missing any parts. It doesn't show anything. So here's another little confusing thing. You usually run into this with Playmobil on several issues. Things that are a little bit confusing and they're not really making it very clear for you. So how does the skull actually fit down in there? I mean, there's not very many parts here. Let's go back here. and look at how this would work. These just clip on the outside, so we didn't make any mistake there. That then is just pressed in, and of course there is, for the spider, there's a nice little hook there. And that goes in there, and you've got this, basically you've just made yourself a little freaky looking plant. As I said, these things, and we'll go back to this in a minute, these, of course, are energy balls, which I'm going to use as, I'm going to use these as, I guess these are energy balls, don't they? Just click on here somehow, you put them in. I'm going to have to look exactly what those are. What are those for? Are we missing something here? So here's the plan, how it goes in. It just shows you putting the head in there, and there is a particular, you'll see at the bottom here, it looks like there's some sort of connection there that spins around, and I'm trying to see exactly how that would work. Here, because the instructions are really poor with this. So let me pause for a minute. Okay, after looking at the instructions a little more, these are basically apparently what you collect from the actual plant. They're not something that you hold in your hands or anything else, because they do have these kind of energy balls normally. And of course, that's what this is for. You collect these and put them in the basket here from this plant. Now, another really bad engineering thing here, and you're going to really wonder what they had in their heads when they're doing this stuff, is that basically this just does not go in there in terms of in any way attaching. Basically, you just put it in like this, and you just open it up like this, and that's part of the little thing. So you can see how this was really thrown together to make another toy at very low cost, assuming a certain percentage of people will get suckered into buying this for their set. It is kind of a weird, freaky thing. Of course, that's what I like. Things that are odd and unusual are kind of cool. But it really doesn't do anything here. It's part of the process. I guess you can include that in your adventures, that this is a special plant. The plant gives you these kind of special fruits or whatever that have some power. So this could work as something that would be used for to try and capture or be kept somewhere. So that's it, people. So what you got right here is what you get. This is what it looks like. Turn it around. And as I said, these are all pieces that went with other things they put together. Certainly, as I said, it's just so weird. I kind of like it. And of course, this just holds this creature in here. And here's the actual basket. And this figure is very similar to other figures that you can get with this particular kit. And you can see the designs there, and it has that kind of curved sword, which is generally used by more Middle Eastern types. Or I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a sickle that the Druids were known to use. It's got that cool hat. And it's got that figure is painted quite nicely, even though they never paint the backs. Well, I guess there's a cape on there, but you won't find the backs painted, so you can save a few pennies. And of course, it comes with these armbands. They all come with these armbands to kind of give that finished look for the actual arms themselves, but these, okay, yeah, they do these turn? Yeah, I guess these turn as most of them do. That's part of the articulation. You can move. So, it's that usual figure. Take one more look at this figure here. And and you just kind of open this up. I don't know why you would just do that, but I guess that's part of maybe recovering the sacred skull or whatever. Not a bad idea, a little weird. And as I said, I kind of like those type of things. So I hope you'd enjoyed this. This is from the Novelmore. This is 70747. We don't want to use names and make things too personal. From Playmobil. Again, I'm not sure how available these are international or how long this piece will be available. It seems to me that this wouldn't sell very much and it would be discontinued fairly soon. So if you're interested, you can also check the links below, and you can get one of these for your wargaming.